Hello guys, this is the ASMR Medic. I hope you're well. As you can see, this is our final video going through the manifestos of the three main parties, the Liberal Democrats, Labour, and finally here the Conservatives, which I'm ending with these, but they probably are the most likely to win the election, based on the polls at least. Now, as I've prefaced with the last two videos, I obviously do have an opinion on these things, but I won't be sharing them, and I certainly won't be insinuating my opinion on any of the points that I go through here. I'm simply reading through the manifestos in a relaxing way so that you guys can make up your own minds. I won't be giving my opinion on anything, I promise. So I guess we can just jump straight into that. The Conservative manifesto is online. I again will link this to you in the description if you want to take a look at anything in more detail. It's a much smaller manifesto than the last two, of which I had to really skim over a lot, and kind of give you the sort of the taglines and the headlines, and really only go through things that I suppose are most relevant to myself, unfortunately, which might annoy some people, but I don't really know how else to do it, considering how I need to kind of distill these into sort of a 25-30 minute video. Otherwise it just gets a bit, it loses its value, I suppose, as people drop off. So, as you can see, this is the front page of the manifesto. It's kind of a run through of the main points that they want to put across to you, so the sort of the most boiled down and salient points, I suppose. And then at the top here, on the manifesto, they have four things that you can go and have a look on, subheadings, I suppose: strengthening our NHS, investing in schools, a strong economy, and safer streets. So, we'll take a quick drink and we'll just jump straight into that. So, our plan, the Conservative Manifesto 2019, Boris Johnson's guarantee. If there is a majority of Conservative MPs on December 13th, I will get our New Deal through Parliament. We will get Brexit done in January and unleash the potential of our whole country. I guarantee extra funding for the NHS with 50,000 more nurses and 50 million more GP surgery appointments a year, 20,000 more police and tougher sentencing for criminals, an Australian-style points-based system to control immigration, and millions more invested every week in science schools, apprenticeships and infrastructure while controlling debt. Reaching net zero by 2050 with investment in clean energy solutions and green infrastructure to reduce carbon emissions and pollution. We will not raise the rate of income tax, VAT or national insurance. And then it talks about other parties there. So, this, I think, is a lot later than what others are promising, Lib Dems and Labour. Just from memory, this is obviously quite unique to the Conservative manifesto. I think this is more police than Labour's, from memory. I just went through it now, just before this, and it's extra funding, I suppose, we need to look into. So let's have a look at the NHS first, given that this is the ASMR Medic bringing you this. I suppose medic related stuff should be more important to this channel. So, strengthening our NHS. We're supporting our NHS to give people the care they need now, and making sure it's there for our children and grandchildren. The Conservatives have been running our NHS for 44 of its 71 years, and fundamentally believe it's there for everyone in the country to rely on, free at the point of use. By keeping our economy strong, we've been able to support our NHS since 2010, but because of the Brexit deadlock, it recently hasn't had the attention it deserves. That's why we need to get Brexit done and get on with bringing the change people voted for, including giving the NHS its biggest cash boost in history, and making sure this funding gets to your local hospitals and GPs. So they're promising, I suppose, £33.9 billion funding boost for the NHS, 20 hospitals to be upgraded and 40 new hospitals to be built. And I think that they've changed that, because they got kind of called out in the news recently that they offer 60 hospitals, and I think they offered something like 60 new hospitals, but actually it was 20 being upgraded and 40 new ones. Or something like that. I can't remember. So it's good that they've clarified that. £33.9 billion more for the NHS. We're making sure the NHS has the resources it needs so that it can provide everyone with the best possible care. The NHS budget will go up by £33.9 billion by 2023-24. That's the biggest cash boost in its history, and we're making sure that money is already getting to the front line with £6.2 billion more this year. I guess they're meaning 2020 or 2019, I don't know. Upgrading 20 hostels and building 40 new ones. We're providing £850 million for 20 hostel upgrades, £2.7 billion for the first 6 new hostels, and seeding funding so that work on 34 more can make progress. And 78 hospital trusts will receive state-of-the-art MRI, CT and mammography screening machines so cancer can be detected more quickly and to boost survival rates. Under the Conservatives, so this is making sure the NHS has the staff it needs. There are 21,000 more doctors and almost 17,000 more nurses on our wards. Over 1 million NHS staff, nurses, midwives and cleaners are getting well-deserved pay rise of at least 6.5%, and doctors will also see their pay increase. I would have thought they would have told us how much. Obviously that's of importance to me. Let's try not to be too biased. We're also opening 5 new medical schools to make sure that we can plan for the future with confidence as we train the next generation of NHS staff here at home. Investing in people at the heart of our NHS. 50,000 more nurses, with students receiving 5,000 to 8,000 annual maintenance grants every year during their course to help the cost of living, and they won't have to pay it back. Everyone will receive at least £5,000 with further funding in regions or disciplines that are struggling to recruit, such as mental health, and help with their childcare costs. 6,000 more doctors in general practice, 6,000 more primary care professionals such as physiotherapists and pharmacists. This is on top of the 7,500 extra nurse associates and 20,000 primary care professionals that we have already announced. And it still talks about GP appointments and such. That's the end of that. 50,000 more nurses, 50 million extra GP surgery appointments, and NHS visa for qualified overseas healthcare professionals. So at the bottom of all of these sort of spiels, they have a 3-point breakdown of like the kind of, again, the more salient takeaway messages. So let's move into the investing schools. Maybe we'll just look at these for this one. Again, it's super important, but I'm just trying to run through it a little bit quicker. So every child should have the chance to succeed in life, and that starts with access to a good school place, no matter their background or where they live. We want every parent to be confident that their children are getting the best start in life, one that will allow them to fulfill their potential and put them on a path to a brighter future. So it's £14 billion boost in school funding, £5,000 minimum funding per secondary school pupil by next year, and £4,000 minimum funding per primary school pupil by 2021-22. I'm not actually going to read through all of this, but they say that a £30,000 increased starting salary for teachers, which hard-working they are, very hard-working. It says, yes, so all of this has kind of been distilled down there. So a strong economy. With the Conservatives, we've seen our economy grow, with rising wages and unemployment at a historic low. To make a success of Brexit and deliver the change people voted for, we need to make the right choices on our economy. We know businesses are at the heart of a successful economy, and that's why we will continue to back businesses with lower taxes, better infrastructure, and strike new post-Brexit free trade deals around the world to make people better off here at home. And we'll help people with the cost of living by making sure people keep more of the money they earn through keeping their taxes low. By doing this, we'll keep our economy strong, create more higher paying jobs, fund spending on our shared priorities like the NHS, schools and police, and get Britain back on the road to a brighter future. And so they've distilled again into 3 points. 1,000 people helped into work on average every day since 2010. It's not really an offer, but it's just showing their success. And £1,205 more in your pocket thanks to tax cuts since 2010. £9,500 threshold for national insurance as of 2020. I think they're saying they're going to freeze that. So in our first months, we announced an increase in the national living wage to 2/3 of average earnings, currently forecast at £10.50 an hour, and widened its reach to everyone over 21. That means an average pay rise of £4,000 per year for 4 million people by 2024. To help young people get a foot on the employment ladder, we abolished employers' national insurance contributions for under 21s and apprentices under 25. And the Conservatives' tax guarantees, we promised not to raise the rate of income tax, national insurance or VAT. This is a tax guarantee that will protect the incomes of hard-working families across the next government. We not only want to freeze taxes, but cut them too. We will raise the national insurance threshold to £9,500 a year next year, representing a tax cut for 31 million workers. Our ultimate ambition is to ensure that the first £12,500 you earn is completely tax-free, which would put almost £500 per year into people's pockets. It's all about helping parents and protecting pensioners. A £3 billion National Skills Fund has been proposed, and a 19% corporation tax, down from 28%. And what else we've got? A strong economy, which looks at that, and safer streets is the last thing. So, safer streets, 20,000 more police, with the powers and backing they need to keep our streets safe. The increase in serious violence is deeply worrying, and sadly some people no longer feel as safe as they should. It is the Prime Minister's priority to make our streets safer, and we've already begun work to do just that, so that the law-abiding majority can live their lives free of the fear of crime. And by getting Brexit done, we'll once again be able to focus on priorities like this. So they're proposing 20,000 more police over the next 3 years, 6,000 more police to be recruited in the next year, and 10,000 extra prison places for more of the baddies. A national recruitment campaign has already begun, overseen by a new National Police Board and backed by £750 million next year. This means that we can start making people feel safer straight away. And they're saying they're going to give the police the powers they need. We're also giving police forces £10 million in additional funding to significantly increase the number of officers carrying a taser. We've things like extending stop and search, where we've empowered more than 8,000 police officers with enhanced powers as part of our efforts to crack down on violent crime. Anyone charged with knife possession will appear before magistrates within days, not weeks. Those who use a knife as a weapon should go to prison. Protecting the public. 10,000 new prison places will mean that we can hold the additional offenders who will be caught, charged and sentenced. £2.75 billion will be spent on creating modern, efficient prisons to better reform criminals and keep the public safe, whilst an extra £100 million will aid the crackdown on crime within prisons. We will introduce tougher sentencing for the worst offenders and end automatic halfway release from prison for serious crimes. For child murderers, there will be life imprisonment without parole. We will expend electronic tagging for criminals serving time outside jail, including the use of sobriety tags for those who offending is fueled by alcohol. We will toughen community sentences, for example by tightening curfews and making those convicted do more hours of community payback to clean up our parks and streets. We will combat extremism and do all we can to ensure that extremists will never receive public money. We will keep our country safe from terrorism. Okay. And this is back Boris. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Definitely a shorter manifesto. I'm just having a look to make sure there's no other. Maybe there is a more extensive manifesto that I haven't seen, but this definitely boils it down to the points that I probably would have covered anyway, or at least tried to. So this is a much nicer way to read it. But yeah, I hope that you found this again enlightening, and I hope you found it interesting. please feel free to have a political discussion. Discourse is always good.